Hello. Okay, let me do my checks and I'll be with you in a moment. Hold on, please. This is the new thing we're doing. We're normally just here on Wednesdays, but we're going to try to be here on Sundays too. So let me make sure I got you dialed in. Be with you in a moment. Hold on, please. Oh, that sounds like me. Yeah. This is I hear you. The new thing we're doing, but I don't see me. In a moment. Hold on, please. Excellent. We're all good. Excellent. I got myself there. And let me do one more check and make sure that everything is good to go. But it sounds good to go over there. It sounded very good. Too good. So, while I'm getting this up and running, I would like to welcome everyone to the podcast today. My name is Lynn David Livesey, and I'm your full spectrum Gnostic. As I said, this is the first time we have done this. I'm normally just here on a on a Wednesday, but today I've got a special program for you. I'm here and it's on a Sunday. This is very scary. So we're going to try to do this, and hopefully you'll enjoy this. And but we have a special show today. And what am I going over today? I have a special thing. This is hot. What is telekinesis? Okay, the power to move things by your mind. This is a deep subject. We have a lot to cover, and I'm ready to get started. So let's get going. And so, what is telekinesis? But before we can get into that, as you always know, we always have to go back to the beginning. How far back we're going to go this time? 100, 200 years, 1,000 years, to the Egyptians, to where? We're going all the way back. Okay. Remember when the Anunnaki first came here? When the Anunnaki first came here, the old ones was here. They had clover feet and leather skin, dinosaurs. Okay. And they came here, the Anunnaki, those who came down, because they needed gold for their planet. They came here and they landed. Okay. And they tested the water and they found microscopic particles of gold in the oceans. So they was mining the oceans. And then later on, they found gold on the land, and they quit mining the oceans. And we don't even know what that means. How do you mine the oceans? Do they have giant sucker machines? We have no idea. But then they found gold in the land. In Africa, of all places. And they started mining. And in Africa, you got evidence of people, somebody was mining gold 100,000 years ago, 200,000 years ago. We don't know who that person is. It can't be the Anunnaki, because a lot of people don't even believe in that. But somebody was doing something down there. So, but what does that have to do with telekinesis? Well, to make a long story short, let's talk about what happened. They was working with the old ones. The old ones blasphemed against God, and they was destroyed from the surface of the earth and chased into their underground caves. And they captured one of their main caves. Now, that probably means that the dinosaurs didn't go extinct on their own. There was some funny business going on. Okay. But after the dinosaurs was wiped from the surface of the earth, chased into their underground caves, they still needed gold. The Anunnaki was put to work. The Anunnaki rebelled because the work was hard and tedious. So they decided to make the new one. Okay. So what they did, according to the Book of Enki and several other texts and Sumerian texts, they tried to take a primitive ape creature and they was trying to get it to where it could do basic work. And they tried everything. and they couldn't get it where the hands were straight, and they couldn't get it to be hairless, and they couldn't get it to do just the most basic of tasks until they was almost ready to give up. They tried everything. But in desperation, they tried one last thing. They took one of the seeds, eggs, from this ape like creature, and they put it into one of their women. And when it was born, it was hairless and it could speak. And that was called the Alpha, what we now call the Adam. Okay. And they was amazed. And it was exactly like them, but just smaller in stature and status and stature. That means that just like in the movie Austin Powers Mini Me, that's what we were. And they took the Alpha to their home planet. He had to put on a tight suit, and they took him up in the space, and he saw the curvature of the earth, and he was all scared, and they took him to his home planet. But they told him he cannot eat anything or drink anything. When they had the big feast and they brought him out, everyone was amused because it looked exactly like them, but just smaller in stature. But then when it was time for the feast and they brought out the holy food and the holy water, he did not partake, and they didn't know why. And they said they would explain after the feast. And after the feast, in private, they wanted to know how come he did not eat. And they brought earth food and earth water, and he ate. Because they explained he was not created to be one of them. He was created to serve them. And because of that, his abilities was limited in lots of ways. Lynn, that's a fascinating story. But what did that have to do with telekinesis? Because this is what scientists today can't figure out. Our brain is the most powerful computer in the world. Our brain can do almost everything on paper. Scientists think that we only use around 10% of the potential of our brain. They do not understand why. But if you read those old books, it explains why. Because man was created not to be one of them. And it talked about in the beginning, the Alpha didn't even they had to produce duplicates of him. He could not even reproduce on its own until they gave it that ability. And as the work they needed us to do increased, they gave us other abilities. The secret is they are in control. They control everything about us. So we have this mind. Scientists can't understand why our mind don't function right. Why we can't do 53 times 38 in our head. It is the world's biggest and smartest computer. It can do all kind of stuff. But it doesn't work. Because it's just like a stereo. The Anunnaki who designed and created us took the volume and they turned it very low. When we listen to music, we want to turn it up to 7, 8, 9. You know how we get. They have us turned down to 2 or 3. Okay. And when they want to, and they're promising once they return, they might turn us up to 3, 4, maybe even 5. Ooh. But they don't want us to be one of them. They're never going to turn us up to 7, 8, 9. Okay. Because they don't want us to be one of them. So we got this thing in our head. We got this thing that science can't figure out why this thing doesn't work because it's turned down to 2 or 3. We have all kind of abilities. Our brain is interdimensional. Scientists have found a way to get around that low power setting. They have already inserted chips into people's brain to artificially turn it up to 4, 5, and 6. And when they do things like that, people's brains are able to do astronomical things because they're getting around that volume control. Now, Lynn, that's a fascinating story. I really like that. But what did that have to do with telekinesis again? Because we have the ability to do everything. Our mind is interdimensional. Our mind has the ability to communicate, to see, to reason, to grasp things beyond our dimension, to do everything. If we could just turn the damn thing up. The problem is we can't. Telekinesis. Let's explain. That's why I got that picture right there of the 7 chakras. What in Hinduism they call the Kundalini. When you get into Kundalini energy, you learn how to not only line up your chakras, but you learn to power up your chakras. Okay. That's what in China they call qi, where you learn to power up your chakras. And when you learn how to use that energy beyond your physical body, you go in from qi to qigong. Qigong is where you can take what they call spiritual energy or that energy and you can project it. Qigong is what Dragon Ball Z is all about. Qigong is these Qigong masters can take a piece of paper, put their hands over it, and they can catch that piece of paper on fire. Qigong people can actually do levitation. They can run across water. They can do all kind of stuff. But it's not, now you can go to China and learn how to do Qi and practice Qigong, and in 20, 30 years, maybe you can do some of this stuff. But this is not a gift just for the few of us. All of us have these abilities. All of us. The problem is that our damn brain is turned down to 2 or 3. And if we could learn to power ourselves up, we have the ability, all of us, to use our mind, and we could really do everything. Before I go further, let me see if there's any comments. If people think I just went over the deep edge or whatever, people are thinking out there. I have a lot of people I want to say hi to. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It's really great you're here. I really enjoy it. But let's talk about what is telekinesis. One reason our brain can't do anything Because even though our brain is a giant computer and giving off all of this energy and giving off all this power and giving off all of this stuff, it is not focused. It is like 100-watt light bulb with its shining light in every direction. And you're trying to sleep, and this 100-watt light bulb is keeping you up at night. Now, that 100-watt light bulb is 100 watts. Ooh, ooh, goo, goo. Okay, but the problem is if you could take that light bulb and focus it in a single beam, you got yourself a laser. And this is what simply, in layman's terms, what telekinesis is the ability to take the power of your brain, the power of your mind, the power of your chakras, whatever you want to say, and you're able to focus it in a single path. And by doing that, and by learning this, you can become what the Mormons call going from a man to being a God man. What we refer to as being a Superman, or what some people refer to as being an X-Man, is the same thing. You can go beyond human limitations because the limitations we have in our physical body is not natural limitations. It is the limitations that the Anunnaki put up on us. They don't want us to play our music very loud. They turned us down to 2 or 3. Okay. And some people enjoy playing their music at 2 or 3, but a lot of us would like to play it a lot louder. A lot of us want to live at our full potential. And that is what we need to try to do. And this is why we all need to, I don't care if you do it the Hindu way of doing it through Kundalini, you could even do it, I hate to say this, you could even do it like through the Kabbalah, where you line up all of those balls. Or you can do it in Chi. See, different parts over the world, everybody calls it different names and they want to fight and kill each other, but it's all the same thing. We have this energy. We're able to tap into what people call 0 point energy or ether or the prana, or it goes by different names all over the world, chi or whatever. We can tap into this energy. But the main thing we need to do first is to light up our chakras. And by lining up your chakras and learning how to calm your mind, focus your mind, get the clutter out of your mind, you can start to do things that you could never imagine you could do in 100 years. And this is what they promise once they return, that they're going to assist us to go to the 4th and 5th dimension. What that means in English, they're going to turn us up from a 3 to maybe a 5 or a 6. Okay, you get what I'm saying? But I don't know about you. How come they get to be in control? Okay. You get what I'm saying? Do we have to wait on daddy and mommy to come along and for them to decide we're going to turn it up one notch or two? We're going to allow this and we're going to take this away. See, because if thou giveth, thou can take it away. This is why I like it where I learn how to do things. Because once you have knowledge, you cannot take it away. This is why when you read the old books, they were so upset when we was given the gift of fire or we was given the gift of this. Because once you give a person something, you can't take it back. But we can all learn how to focus our mind. And that's what I'm going to get into next. Lynn, what is the purpose of telekinesis? You mean I can bend spoons and I can do this or that and I can, okay, do magic tricks? Is that all you want to do? You don't want to do nothing else? Through telekinesis, not only can you move things, you can, you see what these people in Star Wars are doing, what they call the Force. The Force, the Force, see, it's just another name of Gong and Qigong or whatever you want to call it. The Force we all have. This is why in Star Wars they have to learn how to use the Force. What they really mean is learning how to tap into your chakras, tap into the energy which is surrounded. We are in a sea of energy. We just need to learn how to tap into it. But then you got the problem, just like you do in Star Wars. When you tap into the Force, you can become a Sith Lord or you can become a Jedi because everything goes back to what is called free will. And any force can be used for good or for bad. Right? And this is why maybe they turned us down to 2 or 3 because man is kind of destructive. And you got to think, if we can do serial killings and go in Walmart and shoot up 20 people and this and that and do all the things we do when we're turned down to 2 or 3, could you imagine the destruction and chaos we would cause on this planet if we was a 4 or 5 or 6? If people had the power to knock over cars with their mind and to do some of the stuff that we see in these super action movies, do you know the destruction and chaos we could cause on this world? Maybe this is why they turned us down, because we don't have the mental to control ourselves. The first thing, if you want to learn how to line up your chakras or learn how to do anything, you have to get control of yourself. You have to control yourself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And you have to go for balance. How many of us out there are balanced? How many of us out there, our tempers are out of control, or anger is out of control, or jealousy is out of control, or this or that? And that with you having no power. If you had power and your jealousy or temper was out of control, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is what you have to do first. So there are ways that you can learn how to do this stuff. But, Lynn, are you going to tell us the secrets today? No. Because before I'm willing to tell you anything or show you the techniques of what you have to do, you first have to answer the basic question. Are you ready? And you have to be ready by learning how to do the basics. Everybody want to have the black belt, but no one want to start at the bottom. Everyone want to be the CEO of the company, but no one wants to start at the bottom. And there are techniques where you can learn telekinesis. And there are things that you can do with this power that you can possess, not just bend spoons and stopwatches and this and that. With the power of telekinesis, you would have the power to know what's going on with your loved ones. You could use this power to tap into things, to know things, to control things beyond your physical presence. There is people that already have this. I have ran into several people in my life who have told me they have to be very careful because when they wish bad things happen for people and they curse someone and say, I wish something bad happened, it happens. They have to be very, very careful. Before you can learn how to walk, you have to learn how to crawl. So, what if you are ready? What is the first thing you must do? Is learn how to balance yourself. Learn how to do the simple step of aligning your chakras. The simple step of stealing your mind. Stop all the chaos. Stop all the background noise where you can focus on a single point, where you can focus on yourself, where you're at peace. And then once you have your chakras aligned and your mind is at peace, then you can think about going through the next step of what they call powering up the snake or the kundalini. Okay. And there's different ways of powering up the snake. Okay. We're not going to go into those techniques today because the purpose of this show today is to let you know some of the techniques and some of the things that all of us will be able to do in the near future. And some of us have this ability today. We believe today that only a few people have psychic gifts and abilities. That is not true. We all have gifts. We all have abilities. But we all have different. See, God gave us different gifts and different abilities. But most people choose not to use their gift or ability. There is only a few people who know how to use their gift. And so many of us who learn how to use it decide to use it in a bad way. Okay. We must, if we want to get beyond third dimensional thinking, if we want to get beyond just living for the day, we can talk about, and this is what some of these books talk about. This is what, like the Emerald Tablets talk about. That you got that you have to move beyond the chains of your physical body. And some people read about that and say, oh, they're talking about you got to kill yourself. No, he's not talking about killing yourself. Okay. And you got to set your spirit free. No, that don't mean shoot yourself in the head. That does not set your spirit free. That just means you're dead. Okay. But a lot of people can learn how to project themselves in their astral body or learn how to project power beyond themselves, where they have a connection to their kids at school. They have a connection to what's going on around them. They can sense things. They can feel things. A lot of people today, which is very common, it can be a level 3, 4 earthquake, and they didn't know it was an earthquake until they heard about it on the news. You mean there was an earthquake at 2:15 today? I didn't feel anything. Okay. Because we're half dead. We walk around with shoes, we cover ourselves, we have earphones on our ears, we're doing all this stuff. We're surrounded, people got the music and the TV turned up all the way. Kids are crying and all this noise and okay. We need to tap back in. Okay. And once you start to tap into this invisible energy that surrounds all of us, we are all like fish. If you ask a fish, How do you get that oxygen out of the water? The fish are going, what water? I'm not getting nothing out of the water. Oh, no, what are you talking about? I didn't take anything. Because he doesn't know what he's doing. But if you notice, dolphins and whales also live in the ocean. They can't get their oxygen from the water. That is how they control things. See, the more they give you, the more thou taketh away. That's called balancing the scales. This is what's wrong with having psychic abilities. Once they give you something in one part of your life, they take it back in another part of your life to balance the scales. Okay. And this is what we have to learn is that we all have 7 cards. Nobody has 8 or 9 cards. And if you gain a new card, you have to lose another card. You can only have 7. But what you can do with metaphysics is getting out of living beyond where people just say it's destiny. I was born this way. I was born with this limitation. It's the way I am. There's nothing I can do. No. With metaphysics, you can become the person you want to be. The saying is, you can have anything that you're willing to pay for. And they're not meaning in money. Pay for that is that everything has a price. And if you want to become a policeman, a fireman, if you want to become a high priestess, if you want to learn the sacred knowledge, if whatever you want, it is out there for you. If you're willing to pay the price. I have paid dearly in my life. I wanted to know. I was in special ed when I was a kid. I was very dumb and ignorant when I was a kid. I didn't like that. I was very shy and timid. I used to be in the basement. I never could talk to people. I was so timid. And now I do podcasts, I write books, I do all this stuff. I do everything. Because I didn't like the person I was. I changed. You have the power to. But you got to know about crossing lines. And if you want to gain power, you have to know. This is not no, you're going to go and buy that 9mm, that 45 caliber, and then after you get it, then you're going to learn how to use it. Okay. No. When it comes to metaphysics, most of it you have to learn how first, and then you are granted the ability to cross that line. Okay. So if you want to learn how to do things, and don't say, I want to learn how to bend spoons. If that's what you want, okay, that's not going to get you nowhere upstairs. Please, God, please, Lord, give me the ability to bend spoons. Okay, that ain't working. Okay, if that's the only thing you want the ability to focus your mind so you can bend a spoon. That's the only thing you're going to do? You're going to be a circus act or what? If you want the gift of telekinesis, if you want the ability to do things beyond your mind, to being able to project your power, your ability, you have to answer one question. Why do you want that ability? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to use it? These are very things that you need to think about. Because there is 25 different psychic abilities that are known to exist. And there's probably another 25 that we still don't know about. Okay, because we're at level 3 or 4. And if they turned up our mind, there might be another 25 abilities that we're not even aware yet. Because we're all spiritual beings living a physical existence. And because of that, we are substantially limited. We have 5 senses. That's what we got: 5 fingers, 5 toes. The pentagram is the symbol of the man. It has 5 points. We're 5. The lower angels have dozens of senses. The higher angels have hundreds of senses. We don't even know what that means. But some of the things that are just outside of our reach is what we read about that the grays and things can do. They can talk without opening their mouths. They can get you to they can project thoughts into your mind or visions in your mind. They can block things. They can get you to do things beyond your will, which they call whispering. And this is the problem a lot of people have because a lot of people do not know thyself. And what spirit creatures do to people, they whisper to them. And most people have no idea that whispering exists. And you said, I'm going to stay home today. Now, come on, let's go out, let's go out, let's go out. And you're like, come on, let's go, come on, let's go, come on, we need to go. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and have a drink. You have no idea that wasn't your thought. But if you knew thyself, you would know, hey, who is that whispering to me? What is that? Is that, and just because somebody's telling you to do something, you have the power of no. Because if they want you to do something, you have to ask, why am I doing this? And if I want to learn how to power up my chakras, how to power up the kundalini, the snake, how to go from chi to qigong, what would I do with that ability? So let's talk about real quick. What can you do with telekinesis? And as I said before, a lot of people use it in healing because they use it like in Reiki, or they can project power and they can use it just like acupuncture or use it like in Reiki. They can, but instead of calling on angels to project power, they have their own power. And they can use a wand or a crystal and their power to actually project it to heal pain, to loosen joints, to do this and that, to actually help people. You can also use telekinesis, which a lot of things people don't know about, is by what religious groups do, the laying of hands. But how they do it in telekinesis is you could calm a person's mind, or a person who's depressed or things like this, or anxiety, by putting your hands on their head, and you put in that calming thought, and you can just push all of their anger and depression and sadness away. And by doing that, if you know how to do it, you'll be surprised how it's like, oh my gosh, stronger than any prescription. There's things you could do. I guess you could also use it if you're lazy and want that coffee cup and you're too lazy to go and get it, that you can float it over to you. I guess that would be something nice to do also. But that is not the main reason you want it. You want it because what a lot of people use it for is when you're trying to lift things or do things, you can use that power to go beyond the physical limitations. This is why in the West, when we think about power, we think about big people weighing 300-400 pounds with all kind of muscles and this and that and everything else, because we're looking at physical power. But when you look in the East, A lot of these kung fu masters and chi masters and all this stuff, they weigh 90, 100 pounds, 120 pounds, and they're powerful, not because of muscles, because of this. And they can open all kind of stuff and break bricks and do this or that or do all. Okay, they're not using their muscles. They're using the power of this because they can focus their mind, focus their body, and do all kind of stuff like that. But again, are you going to do this as a circus trick, or are you going to do this so you could help others? And this is how some people accidentally tap into this telekinesis energy. This is why we all heard stories about there has been a car accident and this person come along and the door was stuck and he ripped the door off the car or do superhuman things or turned the car over or all kind of stuff, or a car fell on somebody and somebody come and lift the car up or whatever. Okay, because now we call that adrenaline rush and all kind of stuff. You know, we always trying to come up with some name for something. But we have a lot more power than just our regular physical strength. Okay, we just have to learn how to tap into it. And you can tap into this for good or for bad. So, real quick, if you had the ability to tap into this, would you want to do it? Okay. And why would you want to be able to do it? These are questions you need to answer. And if the answer, and if you can come up with a great answer, yes, if I had this ability, I would be able to help others. I would be able to do this and that because I'm a nurse, I'm a firefighter, I'm this and that. I need to be able to tap into that power when I'm trying to save lives or this or that. Or you've got to have a reason. And then once you have that reason and you feel confident that you can control your anger and all your anxiety and your negative emotions, then you can ask for them upstairs to turn you up that one notch. And a lot of times they grant these requests if you do it right. Remember, there's three ways to have abilities. You could be born with an ability. You can be bestowed or given an ability, which happens all the time. Or you can also learn how to do it. And there's ways by that's reading a guy doing this yoga thing to line up his chakras and this and that. There is books that can teach you how to do it, and you can do it on your own. Remember, this is what Batman and Iron Man is all about. They are superheroes, but they have no ability. They have technology. They learned how to do it. It's what's better for you. But at first, you need to start working with that mind of yours. And the first thing you need to do is clean out the closet. Get rid of all that junk, all of that BS in your mind. Because you are a very powerful creature. We all have that speck of God inside of us. We all have that speck of the divinity in us. We are all seeds of God. And if you could bring out that godliness inside of you, you would be surprised what you could do. Let me look at these comments for a minute, see what's going on over here. So, Do this make sense what I'm saying? Do everyone understand what I'm talking about? I am not talking about being a freak on a freak show. I'm not talking about just, being able to show off. A lot of people want to have the ability so they can show off to their friends or show off to this or use it to get girls. Or if I had that ability, I could break into a safe or I could steal this. Or, okay, please. We need to try to make the world a better place. We need to try to move out of third dimensional thinking and get into fourth and fifth dimensional thinking. This is the quest. See, they have decided to let man cross. We're not worthy. They are letting us cross. But they're not promising we're going to still be here 100 years from now. Because we are going to learn once they turn us up from a 3 to a 4 to a 5. We will quickly have the ability to kill every man and woman on this planet if we desire to. Or we will have the ability to solve all of our problems if we desire to. Our future, our destiny is in our hands. And of course, as usual, the glass will be half full and half empty because it's up to us. Okay. Now, for myself, I'm ready. I need you to join me. I'm not the only one. There is people out there who are ready. We are trying to get all humanity to cross. Before the secret was, we was trying to get just the chosen few to say, I'm saved, I'm ready, I'm a master, I'm an enlightened master, I'm this, I'm that. You were just worried about you. We're beyond that now. We're trying to get humanity to cross over. So you got to decide, are you going to be the leader of the flock? Jesus talked about there's many flocks. Are you the leader or are you a follower? And where are you leading your flock? To salvation or to damnation? You have the choice. And as our ability, as we cross more deeper into the age of Aquarius increases, and we start to get the ability to move higher, we have to get rid and control our negative desires. So we can move ourselves and move our family, our community, and the entire human race to the next level, if that's what we wish to do. Or we can destroy the whole human race and say the hell with it. And this is what happened. See, everything is talked about in books. See, they talk about, give you an example in the book Superman, how great Superman is and their planet Krypton and whatever. But what happened to their planet? And the Anunnaki, how smart they was and this and that and everything else. But what happened to their planet? Nibiru wasn't destroyed. But the surface of their planet is no longer inhabitable. They now live below the surface of their homeworld because of what they did. Okay. That might be the Earth 100, 500 years from now Because of World War III, World War IV, we might not be able to live on the surface of our world anymore. We might live in bunkers and giant bases and cities below the surface hundreds of years from now. Okay. And we dream about what the world was like when we lived on the surface world. Okay. Is that going to be us? Is that where we're going? Is that where we want to be? I'm a Gnostic. My thing is, I have something called the gift of knowledge. I know about a lot of things. This is why I do these podcasts. My thing is to share some of the knowledge. I'm limited on what I'm allowed to share, but I'm giving you a taste when I do these shows of things that's beyond just the basic SOB of living day by day and feeding your children and going to work and going to bed and meeting a girl and this and that and the same BS bullshit life we've been doing. We're caught up in BS. We need to move higher. As I said 100 times before, Socrates said 2,500 years ago, when the basic needs of man is met, which is food, housing, and clothing, his mind will automatically start to advance to the next level. And he will start asking those questions. What is beyond that mountain? Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? And start searching beyond the horizon. How come we never do that? Oh, because there's a new iPhone coming out. Oh, is that new show on Netflix that's coming on? Oh, is the football season's going to start in a few weeks? Okay, we got all so much static in our mind. They don't want us to move up. This is the trick, the trap of the dark side. The dark side don't want nobody to move. I want to learn how to do things. And I have some abilities now. But I'm not a freak. I'm not going to be levitating balls above your head to entertain you or do little tricks to, ooh, it's to turn you on. I got better things to do with my life. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Okay. This is not the point. The point is, we are all spirit creatures that are living a physical existence. And some of us want to move further. And some of us are tired of the bounds that we are bound by this physical existence that we have and bound by the Anunnaki to keep it turned us down to level number 3. But you can, on an individual level, do better. So if you're interested, there's a lot of places where you got to start at the beginning. Everybody hates starting at the beginning. First thing you got to do is learn what the guy is doing. I'm not saying you got to do your fingers like that and this and that and do all those little rigmarole. I'm not into dogmas and all this stuff and everything. The purpose of yoga and all this stuff is learning how to steal your mind. Learn how to start lining your energy points, your chakras. If you don't know what a chakra is, well, you got homework to do. We went over that before. And then once your mind is steeled, once your chakras are aligned, then it's time to move forward. But first, you need to find out what you want to do. There's lots of things you could do. There's more to life than just working, meditating, you know. But before I say that, I have to get into it. There's always that but. You know, there's always a but. Some people If you look at the old masters, you look at Buddha, the Zen Buddha, he loved meditation so much that he was always meditating and he loved that dream state. Some people love being high because they love that dream state. They love LSD, they love mushrooms, they love DMT, they love this because it's so beautiful. They love, using Suja light and all these advanced stones, all things you can see, all the rainbows and all the colors and the azurite and all this stuff. But we are stuck here. And you need to stay here until it's your time. So you can learn how to project yourself, but you cannot leave. There is work to be done at this level. Our goal is to go to leave God from his left hand side, to go through every form of life, every type of creation, and return to his right hand side. I know some people wants to do it that quick. It takes time. And you just can't say, okay, I'm tired of the third grade. Okay, I'm checking out. Okay. No. You haven't touched the tip of your ability. So many times as a Gnostic, I thought I filled in the puzzle, I was done. This happened 3 times in my life. And then I find out that that puzzle I just filled in is just one small part of a bigger puzzle. There is knowledge and information is infinite. I want us to grow. I want you to grow. If there's anything I can do to help you in your quest, if there's anything I can do to help humanity to move forward, if you need help and assistance, we all need to work together because we are all tied together. Black, white, Chinese, human, this, everything else. And the reason why, because once we leave this blue ball, we're no longer black or white. We're no longer American or Mexican or Chinese or whatever. We're all human beings from the planet Earth. That's all we are. And I'm ready for that move. I'm ready for that new step, that new adventure. I'm ready to change this paradigm. I gave you a lot of things to think about. But when it all boils down, there's only one thing you need to answer. Are you ready? And if you are, then you need to start opening your mind to the possibility that exists beyond your BS everyday life. And I promise you, once you get started, you will never look back. My name is Len David Livesey. I am your full spectrum master. And I want to say thank you for all the people that heard this podcast. Share this with your friends and family. And I will be back on the Spirit Rim Network on Wednesday. I'm on my Facebook page. On Tuesday doing encounters. And you can always check out me on Facebook or I'm everywhere. Just type in my name and you'll be surprised. I have books. I got everything. I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm always here. Until next time, I want you to have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much. Bye.